I thought anytime you're on the road, it's really nice to get a good start. I thought we were really locked in and we were taking some really smart, high percentage shots for us. And certainly, Strimlow hit, I think, a 3 or 2 in that stretch. So that was great to see. Then, you always know when you're on the road again. Typically, you're not going to go unscathed and there's no run. Certainly with the team that has the capabilities, is so well coached as Nebraska, with the 3-point shooters that they have. And, they have a nice inside game and they stretch you because they can hit threes, 12 can. So not surprising. I didn't like it, but I loved how we answered. We kind of got back to some of our high percentage looks. And when we got a couple to fall, then our defense stayed really, really solid.
Just tell us, 11 o'clock start. I don't know what your routine is, but obviously it looked like you were ready to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those situations, just like, in the West Coast when you got to play there and, you get these time slots because it's great with TV, but no one really likes that time slot. But, it's kind of control the controllables. And that's, I told the team, I said, the team that handles it the best is going to be happiest at the end of it, right? We had one, we didn't play so well. That was an early one against UConn. We have this one. We have another early one next Sunday at Michigan. So I just didn't make too much about it. I did, we reminded them, or Coach Stamp certainly did, after breakfast to do not go take a nap, right? I think that's key, right? Because you're getting up, your pregame meals are usually 4 hours before, and that's 7 you're eating, and it's kind of easy just like, well, maybe just go lay down. And so, I don't check their rooms, but I do think our team was focused, and they really do want to win, every single one of them. So I think for the most part, they're really listening to our suggestions.
How'd you feel like Kylie Fearbox? She didn't play last time against Nebraska. How'd you feel like her defense on her defense sort of?
I thought it was terrific. It really did. And that was on our board before, is like the talking and setting the tone defensively. Nebraska's, ball screen action is as good as anybody's in the country. And when you let Britt kind of get on and she gets that downhill action, especially with those ball screens between the rails, she's just lethal. I told you many times we tried like crazy to recruit her. So I've watched her play so much, and she's just so good. But Kylie's defense is really stellar, and when Kylie's on. So I thought it was important to try not to let Britt get in that go zone mode, and that was our trying to, she's been in the go zone mode a lot of first halves that we've played her. But I thought Kylie was just able to kind of just jam up those ball screens a little bit, push her out a little farther, make her take one extra dribble before she could really get downhill. And I thought the rest of our team was helping at the appropriate times. And when we did get a little trouble, we would overhelp a little bit, and then they'd kick it out. But I think, that X factor was Kylie certainly today, and often is.
You've had a lot of great post players. What's Ava do so well that will give her a chance to be in that category?
Ava's a little bit different than some of our other post players. She's a little bit more of a hybrid. She's not quite as, big and strong and just going to hold you at the block and cross you over. She's a little bit more wiry, right? She's got really good speed going down. I just think that, any good post player, if you give them the ball where they need it at the right time, you can be pretty accurate. And so we've been working a lot on that timing. But I think her athleticism and her foot speed is pretty extraordinary. And I think she's just beginning. I think we can get her even more efficient with the placement and understanding how to post up for 1 or 2 passes away. When I think of one of our former great post players, Megan Gustafson, who I've told every post player that I've ever, visited with, or, different people used to call me up. They have a high school post kid, and I'd say, just watch Megan Gustafson's film, right? Her ability to really think like a point guard, Gustafson's, and that's where our next steps with Ava as we continue is to really understand how she's being guarded on the floor, down the floor, and start to really think, okay, I want it when, I want it in 2 passes, and I want it there. When we get Ava to start understanding that, I think she can definitely continue her climb to be one of the great ones.
How does Taylor Strimlow maybe exemplified the fun and joy you want your team to play. It seemed like she
Yep.
really set the tone as well.
You know, she really does. She just has that kid just has a joy about her, number one. Even in the recruiting process, she's just up for anything. You know, she's kind of an old soul. I mean, I can talk to her about, 80s music to, well, speaking of 80s music, Ava Hayden is way into hard rock, 80s rock. It's crazy. But Taylor's one of those kids that's pretty selfless too. Like, as long as the whole thing's winning, she's pretty content. And that just is a great way to play the game because it's always 5, right? And she had a beautiful game. You know, her shooting today, that 6-7, right? That was kind of fun in the locker room. They all got a chuckle out of that. But I just thought the way she plays with that passion and a confidence, she just kind of comes back after a mistake or gets everybody else to move on, to that next play mentality. But she just is, she just loves it and she wins and she's pretty selfless. And that's a pretty cool way to play and live life, by the way.
Oh yeah, obviously Taylor Stremel, career high in points today, as we were talking about. How do you feel like she's going to help this team moving forward with consistency on offense, especially now as you guys are continuing to try to find a replacement and energy for McKinney?
Yeah, and you said Strem, right? Stremlo?
Strem.
Yeah. That's where we just need that spot to be pretty, just consistent. And we've been trying to find that, and I think we're moving a little bit closer to that. And I think we'll see better minutes as hopefully from Addie Deal, because she certainly showed that she has that capability. But I'm liking what I'm seeing in practice, and Strimlo has started when Chit Chat was hurt. She started when Kylie Feuerbach was hurt at the 1, at the 2. She just has that experience, I think, that helps steady us at beginnings of games. And I think that's going to help us moving forward. But if she could shoot 6 for 7 every night, I like her chances. But I think that more consistency with the stat line is going to be needed. But I also like the consistency of which she helps us with a steady approach to the starts of games.
You've had a couple of games this year where Bray will put up 18, 20 points, and you come in and you tell us, I think she could have made a couple more baskets. She was 12 of 15 today. Was there anything in particular that you really liked that she did maybe today that allowed her to be more efficient?
Well, I was pretty happy with it today. I thought today she played with a fluidity and a confidence. And she hit a couple of those outside shots. But, I mean, I've never told any of our posts not to shoot it. I mean, I watch how hard they work, right? And you're going to, I think if we get, especially Ava, but all of our bigs, understanding that there is a counter if you're sagged, if you're pressured, if you're fronted, if you're wedged, if you're three-quartered. But this offense requires patience of which to make that read and patience to let it open up. And sometimes, when you're playing some pressure defense, the guards don't have time in the ball. Sometimes as a post player, you're rushing it. I thought today what Ava did so well was she trusted her process. She shot the shot she should have taken, and, she didn't look back. She didn't get too high, they went in. She didn't get too low on the one that didn't. And that consistency, I think, will really, really serve her well. But I thought she had just a tremendously efficient game.
All right, thanks, Jim. Thank you.